So the next panel is about the role tokens play in financing decentralized AI. And we have a fantastic panel. Thank you all for coming. We have Conrad from NEAR, who you've heard already. We have Laura Nguyen from Ava Labs. And we have Mihaela from SingularityNet, which I'm a big fan, by the way.
Still the show, but okay.
I had fun with Sophia like 6 years ago. I totally confused her.
She's here in Davos.
So I asked Sophia which came first, the chicken and the egg, and she couldn't answer for about 2 minutes, just the chicken, the egg, and then said I can't answer. And 3 minutes later came back and said, wait, was that a rhetorical question about the egg? So exactly.
She got it. And this morning, Sophia gave very good investment advice at the Family Office Investor Summit. I have my fans here.
Buy the Trump token?
Me. They can attest to that. Yeah.
What was the advice?
She was on their panel and she stole the show.
Okay.
Yeah. That's insider information.
Good. All right. So let's talk about why tokens and why decentralization matter, right? And so let's start with you, Mihaela. Talk about decentralization and what you've learned through Sophia, et cetera, and why we're at a point where decentralization is so important.
No, and I have to start with a bit of history because the previous speaker asked if anyone heard about agents. So I've been designing multi-agent systems and autonomous agents since the last 40 years. And I have to say, I also co-founded the Foundation for Intelligent Physical Agents. So this is nothing new. What is new is that we have more computing capacity and more data. So what SingularityNet is doing on bed of decentralization, just like the previous speakers mentioned, just goes one notch up. And what does it mean? So our agents are super intelligent, are very intelligent. And we prepare the world for the time when all these super intelligences, we call it algorithmic chemistry. They will be able to meet each other and combine each other into more complex services. Like you or someone mentioned about the travel, yes? So flight and hotel and the shortest route and everything else. And they combine each other according to whatever goal you tell them and give you the best service. This is, I think, already achievable now, but imagine, maybe even unimaginable, like you want to write a book and give it just the titles of the chapters, and then it combines from various books with other agents, with smart agents. Okay, so all this power, imagine now if one company has it. So obviously the ethos of decentralization, which was already spoken for, is very important. But there's one more aspect to it besides what my esteemed colleagues here mentioned, with their platforms where, for example, instead of being a cog at Google or Meta or anyone else, I can put my software there, my agent, and then if you run it, if you need it, you're going to pay me, yes, through those tokens. They can be AGIXs or NEARs or whatever you want to call them. But underneath those tokens, it can be more. And I think Michael asked about the computing, yes, the decentralization of compute. Imagine now that you are owning computing nodes, and you run agents on them. And I am ChatGPT, you are a translator, and I need translation. I'll have to pay you for the translation. That is all processed in tokens. So we prepare the world for when money will be compute. But if that processing is happening on your computing node, then you get to tap into the wells, the AI wells, at a deeper level, the computing level. So that's my contribution, extra contribution to what they said here.
So Laura, what role do tokens play in this environment? Why for the last 10 years I had to answer the question, but does it need to be tokenized, right? That's the big question. The VCs are going to get you, by proving that you could do it without tokens or without distributed ledger. So what role do tokens play in the new environment?
Just hello everyone. I just came this morning, actually.
You're doing very well.
On the way from Vietnam, so I arrived during last night and then came this morning, and I'm gonna fly back tomorrow evening
Thank you for coming.
So I came all the way for this event. Yeah. So maybe share a little bit the context. So I came from Vietnam, and then there are three things that I just share with you. So first of all, we come from the a population of the Vietnam is 100 million population. And then we are in ASEAN. ASEAN itself has a 600 million population. What does that translate into you? It's a lot of data over there, right? So that is the first thing. The second thing is that Vietnam as a country, if you know that recently with the requirement come out about the chips and so on, we actually belong to a tier 2 country. Right, so tier 1, tier 2, and 3. Tier 3 is like completely banned, that you cannot import the chip. Tier 2, just like you only got a cap of like 50,000 GPU. I'm sure that you saw that already. So we come from the country that the GPU is a luxury for us, right? Like if we want to, we had a lot of data. If we want to turn that data into anything that like commercialize, makes sense, then we need the infrastructure. But then we belong to the country that impacted with that regulations for the infrastructure. And having said that, so that's why, just that I'm sure that you understand why the role of decentralization is important for us. Like for someone come from like the country with the lot of data, with a lot of population, but heavily impacted by the different regulation here. And then for the last one is that for me, around 5 years ago, I actually did a thesis for my MBA, and it's about the why IDEO at that point just super popular. Why IDEO is play a crucial roles for emerging markets, right? So the data that we do the research over like 300 projects at that point in time when they raise fund. You can just raise fund with like token 3 to 5 weeks. Right? Why, if you are a traditional startup, AI or not AI, it takes on average of 6 months. Right? Imagine that with the AI moving, like probably next week, something else. 6 months we managed to raise fund. Guess what? Gone. Right? So I think that if looking from the decentralization and the role of the token play for like for the AI area for us come from emerging market. So one is that it could help a lot with the financing the potential project that we'll be able to go further, go global. The second one is that from the infrastructure perspective, it's really going to help us as well. And the last one is that with the amount of data that we have, I think that every single one will be able to play the role inside that like the universe of the AI at the moment.
That's fantastic, specific use case, like real world ground up. Because I think that tokens are important because they represent liquidity. Liquidity of access to ideas, access to compute, liquidity of money, liquidity of for transactions. Right? Historically, when you had paper and you had telephones, it's all regulated and there's a central authority in the middle. And all of a sudden we have this amorphous, decentralized network where you can, in a permissionless way, come onto the system and leave and do as you wish. A lot of times without leaving the kind of footprint which you'd have to leave otherwise. And it's amazing to hear like Vietnam I used to live in Hong Kong, which is also tremendously data rich. So Conrad, a lot of people talk about NEAR was built for AI. This is like your moment, right? That you were seeing it, looking forward. So what is it that what are the needs in the system that you see that can be fulfilled by NEAR, but also by, in general, other new protocols?
So yes, our origins are in the AI space. However, I think and lots of blockchains now are chasing this AI train, right? So I think the differentiation becomes less and less visible between different players. And what we want to achieve is really differentiate us by the products that we can offer to builders, developers, but also to users. The good thing about NEAR blockchain is that it's a sharded blockchain, so it's scalable in theory until infinity, right? The more shards you add, the more scalable you become, which we believe the right framework for the agent economy that Mihaela had mentioned, right? The more agents we have, the more robust network we would need to have to accommodate these transactions, because agents sending tokens to agents and creating this agent economy would require this settlement layer that near blockchain can offer.
And I have to say, because you mentioned this, it's very important for us that, let a million flowers bloom. Yes, as many as possible, I would like to see those infrastructure flourish. What this computing, like everybody is owning their computing nodes, what our infrastructure, which is underneath, metacycle, hypercycle, you can Google it, it's very new. It works underneath every of these platforms and enables this agent economy so that everybody can tap into that wealth.
And if I may build upon your thought, Mihaela, I think the key is interoperability, because I think we now have a couple of hundreds blockchain, if not thousands, and there are still challenges of sending transaction from one blockchain to the other. And I will still need to shill near. We created a really cool technology called chain signatures, which enable to send a transaction from near wallet to Bitcoin wallet and vice versa, right? So I think I'm super excited about all these interoperability solutions that will facilitate the token economy for AI.
One last thing I have to add here, from my colleague, just last one on this topic, yes. Because that's why we created the AGI, or Superintelligence Alliance, yes. And we would like, to have everyone in alliance. And of course, we kept our token, yes, but also we can have a universal token for that. But I think it's very important to work together, and it's in synergy with what everybody is developing. Like Ocean Protocol is focusing on data, and Fetch is focusing on commercialization. SingularityNet is focusing on AGI. They are focusing on all these distinctive things. So I think it's very important to work together and collaborate.
So Laura, as you have a fund, right, and you've been reviewing a lot of new opportunities, right? What's changed in the ability of the protocols and the entrepreneurs to gather funding and to use community as opposed to venture capitalists to access funding?
Yeah, so maybe I start by sharing just two stories of what we see recently, and then from that you can get
stories.
Yeah. So just story. So like for example, coming from the like a project that coming from Vietnam, it's actually built on Avalanche at the moment. So they start as it's actually genetic. It's a gene project. So what happened is it take the sliver, and then after that it tell you about kind of like a research about like how you are, what kind of potential disease that you can have. So it started as a traditional, nothing to do with Web3, like you say, not everything needs to be on chain, right? And then after that, what happened is they started to spin off, and then they wanted to because at the beginning, people just do the sliver and pay to know, like, what happened to me, and then in the future, maybe I had a cancer, or like, some hidden disease that I didn't know. But at the same time, so that many other companies in the world would like to purchase that kind of data from me, right? Like, for example, if I'm, and especially Asian, right? And this company focus 80% on Asian, because of why most of the pharmaceutical company from the website, and then you collect the data from like not non-Asian, and then that's why this company focus on like Asians genetics, and then. So when they collect a lot of data already, and then they found that if it's a user right now, what can they do with that data? Sure, like they know about their health and so on, but at the same time, they can monetize that data by, I don't want to say like selling that data, but by their choice of sending that data to the pharmaceutical company to can do the research about like what kind of like medicine that work for Asian. Right, that kind of things are one of the use case. And the another use case that we also see is called like DAO investment. Like for example, we work with like quite a number of the venture capital in Southeast Asia, and also like quite a number of the project over there. So because of the startup, we struggle with the funding, while like a lot of I will say money from the Web3 side, and then on this side, because of they're non-Web3, right? So if they wanted to raise fund, instead of raise from like the venture capital, big one, they can just do like kind of angel syndicate, small one, but with faster by raising through the like blockchain and so on. So like DAO investment style. So it's just another model that also we see that work. So I think like with that, just like we see what is happened in South Asia. They're more like Web2 project, nothing to do with Web3, but tap into the Web3 in order to leverage the beauty of the blockchain and also the finance aspect from the blockchain side to fund their project. As well.
And I can add the Web3 dimension, if I may, to what you mentioned, at least for both use cases. So for the medicine, we have Rejuve Biotech. It's a longevity company, and it's testing. Of course, it has to test it on when it gets there, yes, with approval on people, yes. And we create a community around that, Rejuve.ai. So what they do, it's tokenized, of course, and they use those tokens as to incentivize people, yes, to share their data. And they are like united in this mission. They want to live longer. And as such, the app, you can check it, Rejuve.ai, is also tracking if you have a good lifestyle, if you're fasting, and it can just tell you how many years you gained from that. So that is the Web3. And the same with the investments as well. So we have Cogito, which is doing that.
I mean, one of the benefits that's come about is the speed with which you can aggregate a community and pool capital. I launched an AI bot to be a DAO of smart agents would manage money as basically a fund of funds together, right? And typically I would have had to spend a half a year to a year with lawyers, spend $1 million on documentation, get lawyer bankers and accountants to give me their opinions, and instead we spent 3 days, eating pizza and drinking beer, and then go to a site which basically packages now together the pooling of the concept, the distribution of the idea, the formation of the token, the opening of a wallet, and the issuance of the token itself with a contract address, and then a bonding curve so that you have to have a certain amount of traction, $100,000, before you can launch, which serves as your liquidity pool, and then automatically puts it on a DEX. Okay, and that's a lot to say, right? It took as long to say it as it did to do it, right? Which is just crazy. It's a big change in creating liquidity and efficiency, and it enables you to fail forward faster, right? The idea isn't it doesn't have to be perfect anymore. Everyone knows that this is new and that you're building the plane, as you're flying it, as Michael always tells me I'm doing. And so, I think the opportunities there now are to go from idea to execution to community, and then move forward, and to raise your funding from the same people that want you to exist, as opposed to the people that want their money back immediately, want 10x, and otherwise they're going to sue you, right? And so it's a much different environment. So, Conrad, as you see,
and you gave a perfect example with this algorithmic chemistry, when the intelligent agents combine each other into this complex service. Yes,
and also I think
the company itself.
It reflects humanity. People are starting to be more willing to be part of the formation and the early part, and they're not expecting the paternal state to protect them anymore. They just want the state to get out of the way so I can go try this, right? Let me try it. Like, Trump made $80 billion in 12 minutes, and God knows what he did. We still don't know what happened, right? We just saw numbers running crazy with green lights on a screen. So, Conrad, as you see what's happening right now, and you look forward and you have this smile that you have on right now, what do you see happen next 12 months? What should we look for? What's going to happen to us? I always want to talk about what's going to happen to individuals for their personal experience, because that matters more to you than abstract.
Okay, I think that we will have much more adoption using agents in our everyday life, because all the Web2 companies now are implementing agents into their front ends, right? Nevertheless, I believe that we're talking now a lot about this convergence of AI and Web3, and tokenization of this agent economy. However, it will take us a while. Like in full transparency, I think it will require a lot of effort to upgrade our Web3 infrastructure to be able to accommodate all these agents that we will see arising out of the traditional internet use cases, right? So I think a slow adoption of Web3 application in AI and the exponential application of AI agents in Web2 world. That's what I would see.
All right, so I would ask the same question to all three of you for the last question, because they're going to kick us off.
I'm going to take from here because we are kind of in synergy here. The singularity may happen in the next 12 months. We've been warned by Alman at least. Okay, so what we are doing is we are preparing the world for that time. And we are working on the beneficial general intelligence. We have also a conference series, BGI, Beneficial General Intelligence. The idea is that, and this is the main case for decentralization, because we want, first of all, it to be open, transparent, so that we know it's not evil, but also the alignment problem. I think there is a big problem with the alignment problem, because if the superintelligence is going to be aligned with how humanity today, yes, I think we're doomed. So we need to also raise up to the challenge. And actually, we are hoping that the AGI and the singularity will help humanity through super wisdom to show us ways to mitigate conflicts and ways which we cannot even imagine. So besides the superintelligence, the super wisdom, I'm hoping, will come to the fore in the next 12 months.
That sounds like a Star Trek episode, but okay. Lara, so for the next 12 months, what do you think is going to happen that's going to actually matter to us as humans?
So for the next 12 months, actually, nowadays we only plan for like 3 months. I think that 12 months is just like a luxury concept.
Okay, next 3 months.
Yeah. So on the way when I walk here, it's just like AI on everywhere. We see the robot walking on the street, everyone looking at that robot. I'm sure like all of you saw that as well. So I think that adoption is definitely going to happen more. It's already happens. It's already happening right now, but it's just that people are going to see the impact of that is more. Actually, on the AGI side, I had a little bit different opinion about that. I think that is what people aiming for, but I don't think it's going there yet. If you know what I mean, right? So I think that it's something that people win. It's kind of like a North Star that people try to move toward there. But for the next three months, for me, just more like adoption. But there's something that I really wanted to do. If I'm like like a builder right now, nowadays. Sure, you can build a product, but if you wanted to it last long, it had to be an ethical product, right? I mean, it's like I saw a lot of agents.
You're going to add ethics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think that at the end of the day, adoption only can happen if you create a product that is convenient for the user, and also like safe for the user, right? So I think that is something that. For me, that is what I wanted to see for the next like three months.
And this can be done. So instead of knowledge graphs, it can be done with moral graphs. So there is hope that the AGI is going to be ethical. Yes.
And Connor, you have the coveted position of the last word. So, what in my life is going to change? That's going to matter. That's related to the development of decentralized AI over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, year, whatever.
I think like everyone will have a digital twin, which will be an AI agent doing the stuff that you don't want to do or you're bored, right? So I think this is, I expect a more personalization use of AI in everyday life.
Pay my bills, answer my phone, and do my calendar, and travel, please, right? And I wish, first I need a job, then I could do my job. All right, thank you guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.